when the weather is nice. There's nothing better than grilling outdoors. Grilled steak is especially wonderful since there's no way to capture the smoky flavor of a grill when cooking meat indoors. While charcoal grills have certain benefits, gas grills are great because you get a lot of control over the heat, and they're easy to clean. Many different cuts of meat work well on the grill, and they range from cheap cuts to pricier steaks. Let's examine how to cook cuts from each end of the price spectrum: a flat iron steak and a bone-in ribeye. Things you'll need: you want to bring the meat to room temperature before grilling for a minimum of 20 minutes, preferably 45 minutes. My favorite high-heat oil for grilling actually isn't an oil at all, it's clarified butter, also known as ghee, which is often sold at the grocery store and the international aisle. It adds a nice flavor and richness to the meat. However, it's pricier than most high-heat oils. Other options are regular olive oil, not extra virgin, canola oil, or vegetable oil. Preheat the grill to high at least 10 to 15 minutes before cooking. Many recipes suggest oiling the grill, but I recommend brushing oil or clarified butter directly onto the meat itself, regardless of which cut you are grilling. This will help the salt and pepper adhere better. It's also easier and safer, in my opinion. You can use a pastry brush or clean hands. Since the seasoning comes next, a pastry brush makes things a bit less messy. You want to season steak very liberally with salt and pepper before grilling. Some chefs recommend doing this hours or even a day in advance, because salt draws out liquids and helps create a better sear. I season immediately before grilling because I want the meat to retain as much natural juice as possible. Regardless, generous seasoning will help improve the sear, especially if you use a coarse salt and pepper. That creates a nice, crunchy layer. At this point you could also add additional seasonings or steak rubs, but keep in mind that many spices will get lost under a good char. You can do a quick test to see if the grill is hot enough. Hold your hand near the grates. You shouldn't be able to keep it near the heat for longer than 2 seconds. You should hear a sizzle when the steak hits the grill. Using tongs, place the steak on the grill and close the cover. Grill on high heat for approximately 3 to 4 minutes per side for medium rare. To take the guesswork out of this, you can use a digital probe thermometer to test the internal temperature. Using tongs, place the steaks on the grill, cover, and cook for 4 to 5 minutes. Turn the steaks over, cover, and grill for an additional 3 to 5 minutes for medium rare. Again, use a digital thermometer if you want to be sure of the internal temperature. Regardless of which cut of meat you are grilling, you always want to allow meat to rest so the juices have time to settle. 8 to 10 minutes is a safe amount of time with most cuts. To retain the heat, you can tin foil over the meat while it's resting. Delete the flat iron steak needs to be sliced before serving. A chef's knife will get the job done, but I recommend using a long, thin meat slicer. This will allow you to slice along the length of the blade without having to use a sawing motion. Cheaper cuts can be a bit tough, but they are very enjoyable when cut into thin slices against the grain. Cut on a bias for wider slices. This type of meat is excellent on sandwiches. While the flat iron steak needs to be sliced, the ribeye can be served whole. It's a tremendously flavorful cut. You can get fancy with condiments, but this cut is expensive for a reason. It has so much natural marbling that it's best served by itself, in my opinion. Salt, pepper, and oil for grilling are all you need. Maybe some grilled vegetables on the side.